2018, TSMC inaugurated Fab 18 near Tainan town to the south of Taiwan. Fab 18 sits on 103 acres and has a total floor house of 950,000 square meters. In total, across all of its phases, Fab 18 can cost TSMC nearly $20 billion to make and operate. We tend to explore why TSMC's fabs have gotten larger and dearer than ever before, and why that produces plenty of economic sense for the Taiwanese chip maker. Their area unit plenty of the way to classify a fabs. The corporate has 3 volume classifications. Mini fabs with 10,000 to 30,000 wafer starts a month. Currently, TSMC is building a $12 billion 5nm fabs in Arizona. Fab 21, as it is called, sits on a 1,100-acre plot. In Phase 1, the company is targeting 20,000 wafers by the first quarter of 2024. This would make it a mini fab. Mega fabs, which do between 30,000 to 100,000 wafers, starts a month, and the giga fab, with capacity for over 100,000 wafers, starts a month. This can be a TSMC promoting term that they apparently trademark. Modern-day logic fabs, for example, generally target 30,000 wafers a month. A memory fab has to do an entire lot more, generally Olympian 120,000 wafers. These fabs area unit getting to be plenty smaller. Analog chips that convert signals between the physical world, light, weight, heat, pressure, such and also the digital world. CMOS image sensing element chips. They go into your digital cameras. Gigafabs area unit conceptually same because the mega and mini fabs. They run identical instruments and processes but scaled up and in higher amount. Early on, TSMC used this policy for his or her own fab scaling. Their version was copy exact, however over time, they gave the impression to have tweaked it a touch, allowing for a lot of flexibility. Method engineers monitor what's occurring with all their lines all told their fabs. In 1983, UMC spent concerning $200 million to build a 1.2 metric linear unit fab. In 2010, TSMC endowed concerning $9.4 billion in total across 4 phases to build its 28nm gigafab in Taichung Fab 15. 18 years later, that 5nm fabs in Tainan, Fab 18 can price nearly double of that. The TSMC gigafab sheer size is partially why it prices tens of billions of greenbacks. Equipment accounts for 70th of total producing cost and a staggering 200th of a fab's entire budget. The work tag for newest systems like EUV and its follow-up high NA EUV area unit pushing $300 million per system. These systems won't solely price a lot of outright. Their sheer size and complexness mean that TSMC Clean Rooms Area Unit 1 amongst the core drivers of fab's expense. Increasing demands on air purity make them dearer to make and run. Fab 15's room is 104,000 square meters. Fab 18 has albeit with a 160,000 area unit clean room. The cleanliness needs were ratcheted up for early EUV. In 2020, TSMC created $45 billion in revenue and had $23 billion of money on their books. The need of these fabs, together with the 4 gigafabs and that they price billions to run, TSMC started building these progressively larger fabs for a variety of interlinked reasons. Their biggest concern is in increasing their speed, capacity, and client worth. TSMC isn't as involved concerning doing it low cost than it's concerning doing it quick. One example takes place throughout the Chinese New Year month. Taiwan celebrates CNY by sending everyone home for a week to be with their family. However, TSMC told its builders that it will pay an additional $140 per day per employee who works throughout the vacation. With this in mind, TSMC is not extremely an inexpensive leader. TSMC seeks to supply worth. Their fabless customers tend to possess sensible margins and therefore pays high costs if it means that they get sensible products on time. Associate example of this strategy is, however, the company endowed in upgrading its customers' expertise and lowering their entry prices. Beginning in 1997, Moore's Yangtze River began pushing the corporate to become a lot of a service-oriented enterprise. TSMC additionally targeted on bending the value curve for Finnish users with programs like its Cyber Shuttle service. Fabless firms would like to create masks to example their chips, one thing known as a replacement sought out or MTO. However, a MTO will price uncountable greenbacks that tiny firms cannot continuously afford. Thus, TSMC offered a service wherever different customers will place multiple MTOs on one wafer, sharing their prices. You are investment immense capital prices to make the whole facility and fill it with instrumentality. If that instrumentality isn't being employed, then cash is being wasted and customers start obtaining impatient. Thus, TSMC is concerned cycle time as much because it is concerned yield. Cycle time measures what quantity time it takes to run through one layer on a wafer. Cycle time is measured in days per mask layer or DPML. The lower your DPML, the better, quicker cycle times there are. Any longer are nice to have as method nodes. Get a lot of subtle wafers, have multiple layers that require to urge prepped, graven and washed. Over the years, the layers have gone up in range because the method nodes advance. Larger fabs facilitate contribute to those faster cycle times. The gigafab is made from several phases connected along by associate automatic material handling system. However, the entire method goes only as quick as its bottleneck part. For instance, particle implanters area unit down 30 to 40% of a cycle once the machine goes down, planned or otherwise. Each wafer within the production line should await its flip within the machine. So having four tools in your clean room rather than one makes it less seemingly that every 4 go down at the same time. Wafer batches will right away and automatically be routed to future method step while not bottlenecking the method. So as to require full advantage of these scale edges, fabs operators produce sophisticated planning models and queue processes so that every wafer batch arrives at the right digital computer at the best time. One alternative factor that TSMC has that alternative foundries do not is its large role of consumers. Companies like Apple, AMD, Qualcomm, Nvidia, and MediaTek are distinctive within the trade. They are ready to afford higher prices while additionally shopping for in high volume. TSMC leverages this client base to its advantage. It's splendidly glorious that Apple on occasion provides a number of billion greenbacks upfront for a provider to make a facility. In return, they get a secured provide of a selected part. One even have detected speculation that Apple might be doing identical for TSMC. Smaller foundries like Global Foundries area unit cursed lower profit customers lacking in scale. This extremely will create TSMC the Apple of the manufacturing plant business. This is why, like Apple, they take abundant of the profits within the whole trade. TSMC offers its customers a variety of node processes. You have got the forefront, medium, and mature processes. TSMC spends billions to develop a number one edge process for a premier client like Apple. They will charge plenty for it, however, as a result of the yield is low and depreciation expense is high, gross margins will not be thus nice. But once the forefront is finished, TSMC's engineers terribly apace turn and start applying its edges to not the mature processes. However, the medium ones, with the specific goal of cannibalizing those medium node users. TSMC uses EUV to apace, replace wafer cycles that accustomed are done by immersion DUV in older methodologies. In 2018, TSMC debuted the N7 method step. A year later, it steered on to form N6 associate organic process step, introduced with the intention of apace substitution N7. And it has done thus at a speed that is shocked several trade observers from 15 August 1945 to 500th during a single year. TSMC is extremely close concerning their fabs, terribly open about several alternative things, their product offerings, client service strategy, monetary performance, and so on. In 2009, TSMC won a legal proceeding against a contestant, SMIC, for stealing trade secrets and recipes. The Shanghai company quickly took share in the China market and abroad exploitation these secrets. After winning, TSMC shutdown is exhausting on any content concerning how their fabs work and what goes on within. It positively makes understanding, however, and what they are doing far more troublesome to uncover. So guys, this was for today. Give us your thoughts on this in the comment section, and if you appreciate our content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your family and friends. We will meet soon in a new video. Thank you. Jai Hind.